I'm about to tell you isn't just a ghost story. It's a warning. It's about a simple antique, a wooden wine cabinet that became the source of my deepest fears. It's the story of the Dybbuk box. It all started at an estate sale. Tucked away in a dusty corner was this box. It wasn't particularly beautiful, just an old, dark-stained wine cabinet. But there was something about it, an energy that pulled me in. I bought it thinking it would be a unique conversation piece for my apartment. I had no idea that I wasn't just bringing home a piece of furniture. I was inviting in a nightmare. From the moment it crossed my threshold, my world began to tilt. It started subtly. Soft creaks in the middle of the night, which I dismissed as the building settling. But then came the smell. A sharp chemical odor like ammonia would suddenly fill a room and then vanish just as quickly. It was the kind of smell that puts you on high alert, the kind that feels inherently wrong. Things escalated. My lights began to flicker erratically. Brand new bulbs would burn out in a matter of hours. Doors I knew were closed would be found wide open, and sometimes they'd slam shut with a violent bang, making my heart leap into my throat. In the periphery of my vision, I'd see shadows darting, flitting just out of sight. Whenever I turned to look, there was nothing there. Just an unsettling feeling of being watched. I started having the most vivid, terrifying nightmares. I'd wake up drenched in sweat, with images of a twisted, shadowy figure haunting my mind. The nightmares weren't just dreams, they felt like invasions. Then the physical marks appeared. I'd wake up with bruises on my arms and legs, dark and unexplained, as if I'd been grabbed in my sleep. My friends noticed the change in atmosphere too. People who came over would comment on the oppressive heaviness in my apartment, a suffocating feeling that made them want to leave. One friend, pale with fear, swore she saw the cabinet doors slowly creak open on their own when no one was near them. I was living in a constant state of low-grade terror, and I knew deep down that it all centered around that box. I started researching, desperate for answers. That's when I discovered the term Dybbuk box. In Jewish folklore, a Dybbuk is a restless, malicious spirit, one that can attach itself to a living person and cause chaos. My blood ran cold as I read the history associated with the very first Dybbuk box. It was said to have been owned by a Holocaust survivor who, through a ritual, had managed to trap a malevolent entity inside it. Her final wish was that the box never be opened. My curiosity had been my downfall. Of course I had opened it. Inside, the contents were strange and unsettling. 2 old pennies, a lock of blonde hair tied with a string, another lock of black hair, a dried rosebud, and a tarnished wine goblet. Each item seemed to hum with a strange dormant energy. I remember the first time I touched the wood after learning its history. A jolt, like a static shock but 100 times stronger, shot up my arm. It felt like the box was alive, and it was angry. The activity intensified. I'd hear whispers, faint and indistinct, seeming to come from the box itself. It was a constant, unnerving presence in my home. I wasn't sleeping. I was barely eating. The fear was all-consuming. I felt like I was losing my mind, caught in a reality that was being twisted and warped by whatever was tied to that cabinet. I knew I couldn't live like this. I reached out to paranormal investigators, religious figures, and skeptics. Most offered theories, but few offered solutions. Finally, one spiritual practitioner told me about a method of containment. He explained that dark energies could sometimes be suppressed, though not destroyed. The proposed solution was to build a special container, a wooden box lined with 24-karat gold to act as a spiritual shield. It felt like a long shot, a desperate move from a horror movie, but I was out of options. I had the containment box built. The moment I placed the Dybbuk box inside it and sealed the lid, it was like a pressure valve had been released. The oppressive weight in my apartment lifted. The strange smells vanished. The nightmares ceased. For the first time in months, I felt a sense of peace. But the relief was tainted with a lingering dread. I hadn't gotten rid of it. I was too afraid to... What if destroying it or just throwing it away would unleash its full fury? What if it just attached itself to me directly, with no box to hold it back? So the only thing I could think of, I hid it. I buried the contained box in a secret location. Somewhere I hope it will never be found. Even now, years later, the fear never truly leaves you. The Dybbuk box is still out there, somewhere beneath the earth, a malevolent secret waiting. What happens if someone stumbles upon it? What if, a century from now, some unsuspecting person digs it up and driven by that same fatal curiosity, opens it. That thought haunts me. It has made me forever wary of the quiet things, the forgotten antiques, and the doors left unopened. Because some things carry more than just history. They carry a presence, an ancient and unholy energy that never dies. And sometimes on the coldest, quietest nights, when the wind howls just right, I swear I can still hear it whispering my name. Thanks for listening to my story. If you're into tales of the strange and unexplained, make sure to follow for more. Stay safe out there.